Mhm. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Car Biz Leaders Live. I can't begin to tell you how excited I am about the guest that we have today. He is the one and only Rise and Grind King, Glenn Lundy, and I have been following him for a very long time. And I am just so honored and excited to get to interview him and find out about his journey through success. He's taken dealerships and grown them 800%. He knows what it takes to be successful in this business, and I can't wait to learn from him. Honestly, I'm so excited. So let's kick this episode off of Car Biz Leaders Live with Glenn Lundy. Can't wait for you to hear him, guys. Appreciate it. Welcome, Glenn Lundy. How are you, sir?
I am great. How are you?
I am so excited that you're here. I even dressed up nicely for you. I even put on earrings. I made the makeup. I really wanted to make a good impression. I was very nervous, because you've been doing this for a long time. I haven't been, but, I think you learn a lot from each other when you're kind of somebody that you really respect and idolizes, takes the time to come in, be on your show. So thank you so much for coming along. For those of the people that don't know you or haven't been following you like I have, or aren't as obsessed as I am, can you introduce yourself?
My name is Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to 1 and a father to 7, going on 8. My wife's baking number 8 as we speak. And I'm also a 22-year automotive professional and the host of the wildly popular Facebook live show, #Rise and Grind. And that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah. Well, and I am always up early, but normally I take my mornings to do little yoga, little meditation, little journal writing. But I do watch your show anyway, just not when it's early. Tell me a little bit about how you came to how your journey to success. Let's start there. Let's start from what kind of prompted you to kind of want to, push yourself a little harder? Because you're special.
And you're kind. Thank you. I've always wanted to be successful. There's an article in the newspaper that my mom's kept from a long time ago, where I believe I was in 5th grade. I was in the DARE program, and they did an article on me and a guy named Trinidad Martinez. And I remember the picture clearly because we were doing a skit about saying no to drugs, and me and Trinidad were pretending to smoke joints in the picture in the newspaper. And in the article, one of the things is it asked me what I want to be when I grow up. And I said I wanted to be an engineer. And it said, why do you want to be an engineer? And my response was, because they make $100,000 a year, right? And so even as a kid, I just always wanted to, be successful in business. And I started sales at a very early age. I started selling Jolly Ranchers and Blow Pops and all of those things in middle school. And it's just been in me. Some people are just born that way. It's just something that that I personally, like to chase. I love the game.
Yeah. I mean, I can totally identify. I was the top, little known fact about Rachel. Rachel sold the most Girl Scout cookies every year.
That's what's
That's
up.
because my dad took me to his work and I just went. Now, the difference is that how the moms and dads bring the little, piece of paper and you want to order and they leave it wherever in the coffee room. No, I went and I asked everybody if they want Girl
Nice.
Scout cookies.
Yeah.
You say no.
You can't say no to you. Are you kidding?
No,
Yay.
no. People can say no to me all the time. Let's get real. But
Not when you're a little kid with Girl
not my
Scout cookies.
7-year-old cute self asking if you want Girl Scout cookies.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
but let's talk about the no, because I think a lot of people experience rejection and they experience, kind of setbacks. And what are some of the things that we can kind of share with people, like how to overcome some of those, hearing the no, the constant rejection, and how to kind of push through that?
Rachel, I don't like hearing no. I don't like being told no. There's nothing that feels good about the no. And so for as far as a tip or a suggestion or something that I look to is I do everything in my power to avoid the no. And I believe that you can get less no's if you really take the time to do the research, be an expert, figure out what your customers' needs and desires really are. Have a strategic plan, man. If you go in with a plan, you can basically eradicate the objections before they ever come up, right? You can get rid of the no's. So when I go into call it a pitch, or I don't really like that word pitch, but if I'm going into a prospect per se, and I know that I have a service that I can really offer that person that they're going to find beneficial and valuable, before I ever even have that initial conversation, I'm going to do research. I'm going to find out what their hot buttons are. I'm going to find out what they need, what are their problem areas, and how exactly can we solve that. And then what I typically do at that point is I follow this process called LEAD that I put together for myself over the years. So I took the word LEAD, LEAD, and I put another D on it. So LEADD.
Okay.
And the acronym for LEAD is, the L in LEAD is listen. The E stands for encourage. The A stands for advise.
Okay.
And then the D stands for develop. And the second D is you got to do this daily, right? So when I go into a conversation with a prospect, the first thing I do is listen. I listen to them. I don't just go in trying to sell people stuff, right? And I'm like, I listen to them. Hey, what do you got going on? What's maybe some of your problems? What are your concerns? What are your fears? What are your worries? I'm listening. I'm taking notes. I'm absorbing. And I'm not listening so that I can respond or so I can overcome or so that I can defend. I'm listening ultimately so I can do the next step, which is encourage, right? There's nothing better to the human psyche than when someone encourages the things that you care about, right? So if I'm on with a prospect and he's like, man, here's the problem that I got, my employee retention sucks, I can't get top performance out of my guys, we've been stuck on 140 cars a month for the last 2 years, I just can't get off this bubble. When I hear that, I immediately come back with, man, dude, 140 cars a month, that's a great job. There's a lot of dealerships out there that have never even done anything like that, right? Like I'm going to encourage some of those things that they're concerned about.
Yeah.
Now, once I've done that, once I've listened to them and then I encourage them, now what I've done is I've actually developed a relationship where they kind of like me and I've earned enough respect to now I can advise them. So you're selling 140, great job. A lot of dealerships can't even do that. Here's some areas based on what you just informed me that I think that we could grow, right? Like as far as your employee retention, it might be a culture issue, so on and so forth. Now I can advise, and the shields are down. They're not like defense walls. They don't think I'm trying to sell them anything because I listened first, I encouraged second. Now I can advise them on areas. I give them some free information, right? Like, hey, you should try this, you should try that. Then from there, I develop the product that's going to fit their needs. So by following this process, you can eliminate a lot of the no's, right out of the gate. Because I don't like them. I really don't, Rachel. I don't like them at all. So I just try to avoid them at all.
I think that's important. I always try to go in I always tell my sales guys, like, we just got to go in like you're making a new friend. Like, I'm like, instead of going to the party and you're shaking everybody's hands, like you're just picking up the phone and you're shaking everybody's hands, that's kind of how I view it, but I still get no, I
Sure.
still happens.
Sure.
One of the things that I wanted to talk to you, one of the things that you mentioned when we were talking about advising and developing was you mentioned something about when people are, having a problem with employee retention, is that you may be a culture issue. Elaborate more on the culture issue. What do you see in companies? What can business owners do that, help them develop their culture a little bit stronger, keep their employees a little bit longer? I mean, in a climate where you don't know where your money's at and people don't want to work because they're getting unemployment, this is important, I think.
I agree. And culture ultimately is everything. If you want to know, the difference between the haves and the have-nots, it really all comes down to culture and an environment. And so what I've discovered over time is typically here's the thought process behind most entrepreneurs and business owners. The first thought they have is profits, right? Okay, I want to go make some money. How can I make some money? What business can I run? What business can I be in? So we have a profit thought. Then from there, as we start to scale our profits, our focus tends to shift from profits over to customers. We're like, okay, well, how do we get more customers? Because if we can get more customers, we can make more profits, right? So what do we got to do for the customer? The customer's always right. Take care of the customer. All these things that you've heard in business for years and years and years. So then from there, we start getting more customers, we start generating more profits, and then we go, okay, now we need some employees, right? Because if we have more employees, we can reach more customers. If we reach more customers, we can get more profits. So that's the typical business flow and thought process from most of businesses. And I think this is why most businesses, 95% of them, will go out of business within 10 years, right? Because I think it's backwards. The companies that you see that last forever, what they think about is employees first. Everything is employees first. Employees are the priority. How do we create a great environment for our employees? How do we move their lives forward? How do we make sure that they're advancing, progressing, training, growing, all of those things? And if we pour into our employees, they're ultimately not just going to serve our customers, but they're going to go get more customers for us because they love working for us. And when we get more customers and our customers get served the right way, guess what? We make more profits.
Right.
So I would suggest to business owners, flip it upside down. Quit worrying about the dollar first and quit putting your customers in front of your employees. I'm sorry, the customer's not always right. You've got to have your team's back. Your guys, if they're trained properly, they're right. And then we'll make sure we take care of the customer.
Right. I think that's important too, to take responsibility in training as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of times when, like, no, that's not right. And you're like, as you're seeing like money go out the door.
Right.
I'm just being honest and humbled, because I've been, I'm not always, like, nobody teaches you how to be a great business person. I think you have to like become it. And I'm definitely learning from you right now. But I think one of the things that is important is, just to take responsibility, like, okay, maybe like, all right, I'm sorry that I did not teach you this way, or this is my fault and we're going to take care of it.
Yeah, totally. And if you look at right now during this season, you had mentioned, we're in this season of COVID and some people don't want to come back to work or should come back, a lot of those things. So really in regards to that aspect of it, this particular season right now, if you take the two concepts that we just talked about and you put them together, right? So a great leader will listen, encourage, advise, and develop, and they do it daily. So if we take our employees and we put them first and we apply that acronym, let's listen to what our employees are saying right now. What are their fears? What are their worries? What are their concerns? What are their angsts? then let's encourage them. Let's encourage how they are an asset to the company. We believe in them. They have value, right? Then we can advise them on the different ways that we can handle this. Maybe some people can work from home. Maybe they can't. Maybe we need to handle it this way, right? We can have that conversation, and then we develop a solution. So if we go into the lead process thinking of our employees before our customers, before our profits, then that's what I've seen. The businesses that are thriving right now seem to have this model down, right? Really listen and taking care of those employees first.
Yeah, and I think that there's always been a time for me where, and I don't know, maybe I have like a mental block here, right? Like where sometimes it's all monetary or it's not monetary, and so like when the company is, maybe doesn't have a lot of cash flow, right? Or, other things have happened. COVID happens, right? Where you have a really terrible month after you have a really great month and you have all these expenses from the prior month. Like, what do you do to kind of encourage them, take care of them that is not monetary, to kind of still keep with that culture, but maybe not have to just always be about, a financial decision. You know what I'm saying? Which is
Yeah. I mean, people just want to feel valued, man. People want to feel valued. They want to feel like they have worth. They want to feel like they're an asset. And everyone's motivations are different, right? Everyone has different motivating factors. And so what I see is most managers that call themselves leaders, they just immediately go straight to the advise part, right? They don't want to listen. They don't encourage. They don't do any of those things. So they just advise, okay, here's what we got to do. Here's what you got to do. Here's what you're doing wrong. Here's why you did it wrong, so on and so forth. And then they develop a plan and say, hey, but if you do it this way, we're going to pay you, we'll give you an extra $500 if you get a hat trick, so on and so forth. And the people are like, I don't even care about that. I just want to know that that I have value, that I have worth, that I'm an asset. I want to come and work. I want like some loyalty. I want to know that you've got my back. I want to feel safe, right? Working for you. And so I think if you, really stop looking at your staff as a statistic on your financial statement and start really looking at them for what they are, which is human beings that have emotions and feelings, that you can find there's a million ways to motivate people without ever spending a dollar.
Yeah. I think that's always like, maybe I get it from my dad. My dad loves me, but he was like, the way that my dad showed me love, he was like, here's my credit card. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that is sort of like, well, I do this and I do this, and I'm like the gift giver, right? But sometimes it's like, well, some people don't want gifts, and some people don't need money, but some people do need money.
Sure.
And some people, and so it's like this balancing act of like how to, figure out each person. And to be honest with you, that's been some of a struggle for me. Like it's always been a balancing act for me. So
yeah,
it's been tough. Let's chime in. We got some people we should say hi to. Let's say hi to. What up, Raul? All right. And then James Raymond. What's up, James? Thank you so much for watching.
What's up, James?
He's such a great guy. I love that man. Thank you. Vegas. Ron Garverick. What's up, Ron?
Hey, what's up, Ron?
Let's see who else we have on the
I like that right there. That you can put that title as my banner right there on the bottom. The man, the myth, the legend.
Very good. And then what's up from Fred?
Hey, Fred, my guy.
And we got Carrie's in the house. Thank you, Carrie Carter.
Carrie Lynn Carter is a beast, huge rising grinder.
I love it. I'm so glad she's watching today. And we got Larry Mullenix in the house. What's up, Larry? Thank you.
Larry, every single day he says, my goal is, how does he say it? Oh no. Ask, believe, receive is what he
I
posts like every
really
day.
believe. I
Yeah.
love that. Good message, Larry. It's so true.
Yeah.
And we got Lou Ramirez in the house. I love this man.
Dude, he's
Heart
look at
like
how good looking his picture is right there. Like
I
that's a
know.
good
He's so
looking
good
dude
looking.
right
And you
there.
know what else? So positive. Like I'm just like
I
I'm always
know.
doing push-ups.
Yeah.
And I was like, do it. Everybody's doing push-ups right now. Everybody I know in the gym.
I know. The 22, it's the awareness for the 22 military veterans that are currently committing suicide on the daily. And so there's organizations out there that are fighting back against that. So I've been doing a 10K a day. Today's been my third day of 10K a day to raise awareness for that. And Lou and Fred, those guys have been doing the push-ups, and it's good really to see everybody being physical and active, because I know me personally, I put on like 20 pounds when COVID first hit.
Yeah.
Dude, it was like when they said COVID-19, they were talking about the 19 pounds that I put on my belly in those first 3 months. So it's good to see everybody being active. What's up, Chris Roberts,
I
Amanda
know.
Sanner? I know all these people.
I know because we have a very nice crew together and I'm
Yeah,
loving it. I'm
that's
absolutely
great.
loving it. So, speaking of getting physical, how important do you, I mean, there is, I can imagine um, what it's like to go through the kind of stress that our veterans have gone through. But I do know that we experience a lot of stress as entrepreneurs. We experience a lot of stress in the car business, period. I don't care. We are probably one of the biggest hustling industries in the country.
No
And,
doubt.
and with that brings a lot of stress. So, how do and exercise is a great way to deal with that. But what are some other ways that you kind of cope with stress to kind of help bring that mind into that positivity? Because a lot of times when that stress is hitting, that fear is going, the anxiety is going, it feels like the world is coming down on your shoulders. And that's kind of when people get a little crazy. I know I have, you know.
Sure. Yeah, 100%, man. It's you have to have a daily reset, and that time first thing in the morning
Mhm.
is the most important time of the day for any and all humans. So, 5 simple steps to an extraordinary life. At first thing in the morning, you want to not hit the snooze button. That's
Mhm.
step one. Don't hit that snooze button. Step two is leave your phone. Don't touch your phone, dude. Don't touch your phone first thing in the morning. Are you kidding me? There's nothing in here that can't wait first thing in the morning. I promise. Nothing. But there's everything that's in here that could steal your joy. There's everything that's in here that can shift your frequency, that can create negativity. All of those things exist, and you know it. You see them all day long. So we need to make sure we hit the reset button and prep ourselves before we go into our day. So step one, don't hit the snooze. Step two, don't touch your phone first thing in the morning. Step three, gratitude and goals. You need to write down the things that you're thankful for, and you also need to write down your dreams, your hopes, your visions. Now, some people think, well, Glenn, that's 2 steps. Gratitude is one, goals is the other. And what I say to that is actually it seems like two, but it's far more effective as one. A lot of people will tell you to write your goals. You should write 5 goals. Do it before you go to bed. Do it when you wake up. And I used to do that. I used to just write my goals, and
Mhm.
godly, I'd be depressed afterwards, Rachel.
Right.
I'd be like, man, my house now sucks. My money now sucks, right? Like because I'd be writing all these things that I wanted without
Mhm.
any appreciation for the things that I had. So
Mhm.
what I found is if you write your gratitude first, right? I'm thankful for my home. I'm thankful for my wife. I'm
Mhm.
thankful for my kids. I'm thankful for my opportunities. I'm thankful for God's
Mhm.
protection in my life, right? When you
Right.
start,
Yeah, love
yeah,
it.
when you
Got
start with
it.
gratitude, now it's okay to stretch for more. It's okay to reach, but at least we're coming from a place where we're thankful for all the things we do have in life. And
Mhm.
that's the real power. Step four, take care of yourself physically. Some type of workout, run, walk, crawl,
Mhm.
dance, play golf, play basketball. Just get moving, man. A body, an object in motion stays in motion, right? Or tends to stay in motion. An object at rest tends to stay at rest. And we got to get going. Last step, number 5, now that you've taken care of yourself, you didn't hit the snooze, so you won that battle. You didn't get into your phone. You wrote down your gratitude. You wrote down your goals. You took care of yourself physically. What's up, Jim Fitzpatrick? You took care of yourself physically. Step 5, this is the key right here, Rachel.
All right, I'm in.
This is it. This is the trick.
Taking notes too, by the way. I hope everybody's taking notes and things.
No problem. Number 5, right here. You've spent the whole morning selfish, right? You've been pouring into yourself. You're not answering your phone. You're not answering emails. You're not answering texts. You're not letting anybody in. It's all about what you're thankful for and where you're headed. Now that you've done that, you've taken care of yourself physically, you're vibrating at such a powerful frequency. You now have a responsibility to release your frequency, your positivity out into the world to make an impact in somebody else's life. So step 5 is to send out an encouraging message, whether it be a text message. You could send a Facebook message. You could write a note to your spouse or to your kids. You could send something to a client, whatever it is, release it out into the world on a positive.
I love that.
If you start your day like that every day, dude, it's transformative. By the end of the day, you might be beat up again. You might be stressed out again. You had to deal with your clients and the bad review and the this and then that. You had to deal with all that, right? But at the end of the night, when you lay down, you lay your head to rest, you wake up the morning, you hit that reset button again, boom. Now you can charge through. That's the key. The key is attacking that morning, setting the foundation, making an impact in someone else's life, and the rest will roll.
Right. I'm all about that because there's a lot of things that I do. I like to add, so I call them gags, goals, affirmations, gratitude. So
Yeah.
A into there.
Yeah.
But and that is transformative. And one of the things that I do that's really fun and exciting is I write things that I am thankful for that I don't have yet, and then watch them magically appear in my life.
I love it. Yes.
So I have been writing things like, I am happy and grateful for unexpected money. And then I come home and there's a bunch of checks in my mail. And I'm like,
yes, absolutely.
And sometimes there isn't, but usually when I write it and I really mean it, it comes to fruition.
That's right.
And definitely, but my favorite part of your Reset 5 is really just one of the things that I can pretty much check off about 4 of those, but the last one I think is really impactful is to just send that back out.
That's right.
I can be positive throughout the day, but to do it immediately once you are filled up before the day kind of hits you.
That's
it's
right.
more authentic. It's more believable. And I think that's just an awesome way to kind of, frame your morning. I think that's amazing and simple too. Very simple.
Yes. And it's very effective in business too. When I was running Dan Cummins, I had 300 employees, and every morning after I got done doing my morning 5, I would send out 5 encouraging messages to employees in the dealership. And here it is 6:00 in the morning, and my employees are just waking up, or they're just, they're starting their day, or maybe they haven't even started it yet. And they wake up and the first thing that they see on their phone is a message of gratitude from their boss, right? Like, what kind of mindset do you think that puts them in now that they're like jacked up, ready to come to work? They're like, this guy cares about me. He's thinking about me at 6:00 in the morning. He took the time to encourage me. So now when they get to work, their performance goes through the roof because they actually want to work for a guy that cares about them at 6 a.m., not just somebody who wants to beat them up from 9 to 7. So,
I'm not, and I think there's a difference too between like, oh, well, I know. I'm so ashamed. I haven't always been a good boss.
I understand.
Part. I think it is. I think, one of my biggest struggles, and I'll just see if you can, is, don't get me wrong. I feel like I do a lot of things. Like I do too much. Like I don't empower people enough, I do empower them and then I take it back because I'm not moving fast enough. Or, like
Sure.
all these things that I do that kind of just shoot myself in the foot and not really get me where I want to go.
Yeah.
But having a little bit of consistency around like that too. Maybe a little, my other shortcoming is patience. Not very good patient. I just and and Ron says build them up instead of beat them up, and it's and that's great, but not always in the moment, okay? Because you feel it.
Sure.
I think there's a fear there. I think there's an honest fear. It's for me, that's what it comes down to. Are we gonna make it? Are we gonna get through this?
Sure.
And I think that fear is really real. And so, yes, of course, I don't want to beat up my staff. Of
Right.
course, I don't want to, you know, harp on them all day. Like I love them. They work hard. What's up, Judy? But at the same time, like there's a fear. And I think that's what people need to understand is like sometimes like how do you overcome that? Like how do you overcome the fear like everything is gonna be okay? You know?
Sure.
And how like to trust the people that are gonna do it and what happens if they're not doing it and how do you kind of make people I mean, I get the encouragement part, yeah, and empowering them, but I think that's kind of where I struggle. Like, it's not a consistent thing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there's two aspects of that are really important and valuable, that I hope people will take away. So when I don't want to say lose control in the moment, even though that can happen, but when our concern is so immediate, right? That's typically when we get escalated. That's when we
Right.
get to higher levels. That's when we maybe say things we don't mean, and so on and so forth. Is when a concern mentally we've allowed it to become so immediate. Everything is in the now, and that creates the urgency, which can cause us to act in ways we maybe don't like or aren't happy with ourselves later. So to shift that, you have been in the auto industry a long time. I've been in the auto industry a long time, and we've been programmed for decades and decades and decades to think in 30-day windows, right?
Right.
Everybody's heard it, right? On the first of the month, what do they say to you on the first of the month, right?
Right.
The hero to zero, right? You were a hero, now you're a zero, you're back at zero, right?
Again.
Yeah, they've done that to us from the beginning. The manufacturers, they give us new incentives in the first of the month, every 30 days. And then you get all the reports on how you did in the market and compared to your competitors. Everything's a 30-day window in this car business. And so we've been programmed with this really small 30-day mindset. And so if things aren't getting done now, it's like, shit, we only got 30 days, right? Like that's really where our head goes. When in reality, if you can shift that to a more infinite mindset, you're trying to build a business that's going to last forever. You're trying to build relationships that are going to last forever, right?
Yeah.
So the decisions that we make today ultimately aren't as if you're thinking long term and not short term.
Right.
So shifting to a little bit of an infinite mindset is important. Now, also, Rachel, we got to make this clear. So to be kind is to be clear, right? To be kind is to be clear. And if you're going to err on one side or the other, I suggest that you err on the side of clear. I'm not saying we beat around the bush. We don't tell people the areas that they need to develop.
Right.
We don't inform people when they're doing things or their behaviors aren't falling in line with what we're trying to do. If they're not doing things quick enough, if they're, I'm not saying we don't point those things out. You have to be very, very, very clear with people on their shortcomings in order for them to grow and develop. But again, we go back to the whole process.
Right.
Listen, encourage, then advise, then develop. That creates a long-term mindset. Now we have an infinite employee that will do things for us, not just today, but all the way years and years down the road.
Oh my God, Glenn, our show is supposed to be 30 minutes and I don't want it to end.
I'm fine. I'm good.
We go like 5 more minutes because
Yeah, totally.
first of all, the infinite mindset just went because when you really look at it, if you're in this month to month to month, and you do go through and you just take a step back, because I remember doing that at one point in my career. I looked at the year,
Right.
and what the totals were for the year, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that's
But at
right.
the moment, you're like, oh my God, we gotta figure it out.
That's
We got
right.
more money, and profits, and we're not having a good month halfway through the month.
Right.
And yeah, so I can totally identify with that.
And look what we do to our salespeople, right? You take a sales guy,
Yeah,
that had a good month, right?
yeah,
He sells 25, 30 cars, whatever is a good month in your store.
yeah,
So sales guy has a good month. Then you go to the first of the month, you tell him, okay, now you're back at zero, right?
yeah.
You're back at zero. And great, glad you did that last month, but now you basically suck. You got to get out there and get it again. And then we tell that to all of our employees. And so what happens? We
Yeah.
take this high that they were on at the end of the month. Now we create this negative attitude because we just called them all zeros.
Right.
And then we wonder why. And I've heard people in the automotive industry say this for decades. Everyone says we sell more cars in the back half of the month than we do in the first half of the month. All our employees are fat cats. They just got their check and now they're being lazy and they're sitting around and I can't get them to perform. Everybody's saying that. It has nothing to do with fat cats. It has nothing to do with the market. The consumers don't care whether it's the beginning of the month or the end of the month. All it has to do with is you keep knocking your employees back to zero on the first. So they're deflated. They don't want to get out there and hustle. And it's not until 2 weeks in when you realize you're going to be short of your goals. Now everybody's being reactive to try to hit the number at the end of the month. If in this business, we would start keeping track of people's performance over the year, over a longer period of time, you would get far more performance out of each of your employees instead of them only hustling the last 2 weeks of the month, or instead of them having to have that week where they feel like crap because you just knocked them back to zero. Now they're going, okay, I got 30 out and it's February. My goal's, 400 for the year. I got to get after it. Right. So we just gotta, man, I've been trying to break the car business out of these 30-day windows for a long time, but it's a big hill to climb because the
Whatever
industry
I can do to help, because I'm in that 30-day window too, and it's dysfunctional, and it's causing me to like once a month I'm like ready to like blow up my company because I'm like, why isn't everybody working?
Yeah.
So like, let's go harder. And then I'm, and I know they even tell me you're an asshole and you're beating us up. At least I have that. Where we have that open relationship. But it's not like it doesn't happen to me, and I feel bad about it, and I want to change it. But it's also, like, you don't think about it, and you think in this 30-day window, and what are we doing this month, and are we going to make it, and is everything going to be okay? Because as a business owner, you want to be successful. You want to continue to grow month over month, not always slip backwards, although sometimes you have a contraction and you're not always prepared for that. And I think,
Sure.
There's a situation where that is, where you act crazy. And I think and I must not be alone. I promise you, I must not be alone.
You're definitely not alone. What we need to do is you need to measure your success on your activities daily, right?
Yeah.
So did the things that I did today, were they revenue generating activities? Did they move my company forward, right? You should always have a self, every night before you go to bed, you should take just a little time to reflect. Did the actions that I do today help move my company forward? So we measure success daily, but at the same time, we're thinking with an infinite mindset,
Right.
where there's no finish line. It's just every day. Every day, I'm going to give it all that I can. And every day, some days I'm going to put a red X and I'm going to go, nope, I got distracted today. I let my emotions get a hold of me today. I let COVID distract me today. I watched too much Netflix today. I wasn't kind to my employee today, right? Like, we're going to have some some red X's when we self-reflect each night. But the goal is to just have more green check marks than we do red X's. That's it. That's the goal. So self-reflect, celebrate the wins. Yes, I did great today. I finished my to-do list. I got that project done. I wrote a chapter in my book. I was kind to an employee. I did, like, celebrate the wins.
Yeah.
Reset on the losses, focus on the infinite mindset. There is no finish line, and crush, man. Dominate.
Thank you, freaking Lundy. You are the best. I am obsessed. And this is why, honestly, I mean, like, I need to take out the checkbook because you've just solved so many problems for me today. And I'm utterly grateful. I hope that you and I can connect soon, and
for sure.
Let's continue to like build on this because honestly, like, so amazing, so insightful, so true, and any last words? How can people get in touch with you? Take us home, Glenn. Any final thoughts for us?
As far as getting a hold of me, you can go to glennlundy.com. That connects to all of my stuff, all my socials, all my, all of those things. You can connect with me there. And, as far as just a last minute takeaway, I just want to, challenge everyone and remind everyone that, our life is seasons. It's all seasons, and all seasons come to pass. No seasons come to stay. And so wherever you're at, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through, or that's got nothing to do with where you can go. It's got nothing to do with what the future might hold for you. So just keep, put the head down, keep charging, try to get as many of those green check marks on positive days as you can. And we'll see you at the top.
Thank you, Glenn Lundy. Honestly, so many gems today. So many gems. I'm going to share this out. I feel like it's my obligation to the world right now. Like, I don't care what it costs, but honestly, because you really did, you have so many good things with the lead and, working on the culture and putting employees first. And I just absolutely having that infinite mindset. Honestly, those things I'm going to take with me and implement into my life from the bottom of my heart. I'm so grateful that I had your time today. I know you're a busy guy. And hopefully I'll see you around and we can do this again. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rachel. You're the best.
Thanks,
and I appreciate you, Lou. Thanks, Lou.
Like, subscribe, all those fun things. And we'll talk to you soon. Appreciate it.